I'm here today because of you.
So, Picard is over. I'm sorry to break it to you, but the good news is you can now watch it as an 11-hour movie, because that's what it kinda is. And I really enjoyed it, and I've watched it that way already, and I'd recommend you do the same. And I do have a lot to say about this show, so subscribe to make sure that you don't miss the videos that are going to come. But as always at the moment, I'm Al, this is The Geek in Review, and I want to talk about the post-credit scene that we got in the finale of Star Trek Picard. So if you haven't seen it, you know, 1, why not, and 2, why are you watching this video? Are you a cheat or something? Anyway, so forgetting the next generation of it all, the finale seemed to set up Metalis' planned show called Star Trek Legacy that he's talked about on Twitter. We've got a new Enterprise, a new crew, and even a new Picard, and it kinda seemed clear what direction he sort of wanted to go in with the Enterprise G. And we thought that was it, but a couple of weeks ago Terry did say that there was going to be a post-credit scene in this episode, and this is where it all gets a little bit interesting. And this scene is only a minute long, and there is only a few lines of dialogue, so there's not a lot to talk about here. But theories are always fun. At least I think so. So, here's a breakdown of what happens. Jack's settling into his new quarters on the Titan, when who appears but Q? And I know what you're thinking, didn't Q die at the end of Season 2? I'll get to that in a minute because Jack does mention this fact.
My father told me all about you. I thought you were dead.
And I really like the way that Q describes himself as a simple man or a complicated being, because both are true. We've never really worked out what Q's wants and desires are, rather than being a bit of a trickster and an annoyance, but he must have a bigger goal or a bigger plan in mind. And yet, Jack thinks he's dead because, of course, his dad and Beverly would have spoke to him about Q, because that was the first episode, wasn't it? Now, this is where I think Q explains how he's still there. He tells Jack not to think so linearly. I think this is a younger Q, and what I mean by that is the events of Season 2 of Picard haven't happened to this guy yet, because he can time travel, he can go anywhere in space and time and cross dimensions. So for him, going forward a year in time or going back a day is exactly the same. So that's why he's not shocked when Jack tells him he thinks he's dead, and Jack's not really shocked when Q reappears, because Jack's a smart guy, and I'm sure he must have had some sort of debate similar to the one that was going on in my head about how does Q work, what does he want, how does he continue and work, what are the limits of his powers, all that stuff. But that's just my idea. If you've got another idea on how Q got there, I'd love to hear it, so let me know in the comments below. But anyway, Q tells Jack that he's got much ahead of him. And this can be read a few ways. Does he mean Jack specifically? Does he mean the Titan crew? Does he mean humanity? Because when he first appeared in Farpoint, Q used Picard as a sort of example of what humanity could do in order to judge him, and as he told Picard, the trial was never over. But this scene doesn't really feel like that to me here. Q's not being, if you pardon the pun, judgmental.
And here I was hoping the next generation wouldn't think so linearly.
And he says to Jack that Jean-Luc's trial is over, but his is just beginning. So again, what does that mean? Is it a trial by court that we've seen before? Is he being a little bit more abstract? Is it a trial by fire sort of thing? Because with Q, it could go any way. When he shows up, you don't really know what's going to happen. And even though John Delancey kind of ruined that he was in Season 3 over a year ago, everyone forgot about that because he doesn't pop up until the very last scene. Although I'd just like to say thanks to the guy that messaged me directly on Twitter and told me about the post-credit scene before I'd watched the episode. I'm not going to name names, but you know who you are. But yeah, the scene is very short. Like I say, it's about 1 minute and 10 seconds long, and it's clearly there to follow the Legacy setup. And the title Legacy as well. Think about that. Is it Starfleet's legacy? Is it Jack's legacy? Is it Titan's legacy? Or again, is it humanity's legacy? I think if they do go ahead with a legacy show, which honestly I think it's probably about 60-40 against that they won't, that they'll redo or they'll try and redo encounter at Farpoint just the Q elements, because what Metalis done this season is he took everything that he liked about Trek from the movies up until even Enterprise, and he mixed it all together in a way that works. So I'd love to see what this guy and his team can do with Q and the Continuum, because we still don't know much or anything about this civilization, if you can even call it that. So I'm going to do a further breakdown on the final episode of Star Trek Picard. That's going to be coming next week. I might be doing some live streams as well. If you'd like to see me in a live stream and chat, let me know in the comments below, and let me know your theories as well. What did you think about the Enterprise G setup? What did you think about Jack and Q? What's happening here? I want to hear it all, and I'll try and reply to as many comments as I can. But as always, if you've made it this far, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. My name's Al, thanks for watching, and here's some links to some other Star Trek videos as well, so check them out. Or don't. It's up to you.